If you have been waiting for the Washington housing market to give buyers more options, we may finally be seeing that shift. The June 2026 market update from Northwest Multiple Listing Service shows something important. Inventory is continuing to grow, buyers are still active, and the market is slowly moving toward more balanced conditions. But here is the key question. Does more inventory mean prices are about to crash? Not necessarily. What it really means is that buyers may have more choices, sellers may need to be more strategic, and the right financing plan matters more than ever. Let's break down what is happening in the June 2026 NWMLS market update and what it could mean for you if you are buying, selling, or relocating in Washington. According to Northwest Multiple Listing Service, active listings across the NWMLS service area increased 16.4% year over year. At the end of June 2026, there were 23,088 active listings on the market compared to 19,837 active listings at the end of June 2025. Inventory was also up 8% from May, which means buyers had access to more than 1,700 additional homes compared to the previous month. That is a big deal. For most of the past several years, buyers have been dealing with low inventory, limited choices, multiple offer pressure, and affordability challenges. More inventory gives buyers a better chance to compare homes, negotiate terms, and avoid feeling rushed into a decision. Now, this does not mean every home is suddenly easy to buy, and it does not mean every seller is desperate. Well-priced homes in desirable areas can still move quickly, but the overall market is showing signs of more balance. The counties with some of the largest year-over-year increases in inventory included Okanogan, Skagit, Walla Walla, Thurston, and Snohomish County. Snohomish County was up 29.2% year-over-year, which is especially important for buyers looking north of Seattle in areas like Linwood, Edmonds, Mount Lake Terrace, Everett, Bothell, and surrounding communities. Now let's talk about buyer activity. Even though mortgage rates remain elevated and affordability is still a major issue, buyers did not disappear. Closed sales increased 2.3% compared to June 2025, with 6,847 closed transactions in June 2026 compared to 6,694 in June of last year. Month over month, closed sales increased 10.2% from May to June. That tells us something very important. Serious buyers are still in the market. They may be more selective. They may be more payment sensitive. They may be negotiating harder, but they are still buying homes. This is why I do not like blanket statements like the market is dead or nobody is buying. That is not what the data shows. The data shows more inventory, more choices, and continued buyer activity. Now let's talk about home prices. The median sales price for residential homes and condominiums sold in June 2026 was $650,000. That was unchanged from May 2026, but it was 3% lower than June 2025, when the median sales price was $670,000. So prices are not collapsing, but they are softer than they were a year ago. That matters. For buyers, a lower median price combined with more inventory may create better negotiating opportunities. For sellers, it means pricing correctly from the beginning is critical. This is not the kind of market where every seller can overprice a home, wait for multiple offers, and expect buyers to chase it. Buyers have more options now. If a home is overpriced, poorly presented, or not marketed correctly, it may sit longer. And when a home sits longer, buyers often start asking bigger questions. Why has it not sold? Is something wrong with it? Will the seller consider a price reduction? Will the seller contribute toward closing costs? Will the seller help with a rate buy down? That is where strategy becomes extremely important. For buyers, one of the biggest opportunities in this kind of market is not just negotiating the price. It is negotiating the total structure of the deal. That can include seller credits, rate buy downs, closing cost assistance, repairs, or other terms that help improve affordability. Sometimes a seller credit used toward closing costs or a temporary or permanent rate buy down can have a bigger impact on the buyer's monthly payment and upfront cash than a small price reduction. This is why it is important to look at the full picture, not just the list price. Now, one of the most important affordability numbers in this NWMLS report is this. 73.6% of listings in the NWMLS database qualified for down payment assistance programs in June 2026. That is a major opportunity. A lot of buyers assume they need 20% down to buy a home. Others assume they need a massive amount of cash saved before they can even start the process. But depending on the buyer, the loan program, the property, and the location, down payment assistance may be available. This does not mean every buyer will qualify. It does not mean every home will work. And it does not mean buying a home is automatically easy. But it does mean buyers should not assume they are out of the market without reviewing their options first. This is especially important for first-time buyers, buyers with limited savings, renters who are tired of increasing rents, and families who want to build long-term stability. The market may still be expensive, but there are more tools available than many buyers realize. Now let's talk about mortgage rates. According to Stephen Barassa, 30-year fixed mortgage rates reached their lowest point since September 2022 at the end of February 2026, when rates hit 5.98%. By the end of June, rates had increased to around 6.49%. That rate movement matters because even a 0.5% change in mortgage rates can significantly affect monthly payments and buying power. This is one reason why affordability remains challenging, even though inventory is improving. For many buyers, the issue is not whether they want to buy, the issue is whether the monthly payment makes sense. That is why the conversation should not just be, what price range are you looking in? The better conversation is, what monthly payment are you comfortable with? How much cash do you want to keep in reserves? Are you eligible for down payment assistance? Can seller credits help reduce your upfront cost? Would a rate buy down make sense? There is no one-size-fits-all answer, but there is a right strategy for each buyer. Now let's look at showing activity and buyer behavior. NWMLS reported that keybox activity was down 9% from May and 3.4% lower than June 2025. Scheduled showings were also down 9.3% from May and 4.9% lower than June 2025. At first glance, that may sound negative, but here is the interesting part. 25,583 listings received at least one showing during June. That was up 1.6% from May and up 8.7% compared to 1 year ago. So even though total showing volume declined, more listings were getting at least some buyer attention. That suggests buyers are spreading out across more available homes. In a low inventory market, everyone is fighting over the same limited number of listings. In a more balanced market, buyers have more choices, so attention gets distributed across a wider range of properties. That is good for buyers, but for sellers, it means presentation, pricing, condition, marketing, and terms are more important. You cannot just rely on low inventory to create urgency. You have to give buyers a reason to choose your home over the other options they now have. So what does all of this mean if you are a buyer? It means this may be a better time to start reviewing your options than many people realize. More inventory can mean more negotiating room. Steady or slightly softer prices can create opportunity. Down payment assistance eligibility is widespread across the NWMLS database, and sellers may be more open to credits, buydowns, or other concessions than they were during the most competitive market conditions, but buyers still need to be prepared. Now, if you are relocating to Greater Seattle, the Eastside, King County, or Snohomish County, this market update is especially important. King County had one of the highest median sales prices in the report at $889,000. Snohomish County was also one of the higher-priced counties, with a median sales price of $725,500. That means your strategy may look very different depending on whether you are shopping in Bellevue, Kirkland, Redmond, Bothell, Linwood, Everett, Edmonds, Renton, or Seattle. I am David Kowal, a dual licensed realtor and senior loan officer serving Greater Seattle, the Eastside, King County, and Snohomish County. My role is to help you look at both sides of the transaction, the real estate strategy and the financing strategy. That means helping you understand the market, compare your options, structure stronger offers, evaluate seller credits, review down payment assistance, and build a smarter plan before you make a move. If you are thinking about buying, selling, relocating, or simply want to know what this market means for your specific situation, schedule a strategy call with me today. David Kowal, lender and realtor, dual expertise, double savings.